We've seen a few inner joins and thought about the relationships tables can have to each other. Now it's time to level up our joins by building on these ideas. A powerful feature of SQL is that multiple joins can be combined and run in a single query. Let's have a look at some syntax for multiple joins. We begin with the same inner join as before, and then chain another inner join to the result of our first inner join. Notice that we use leftTable.id in the last line of this example. If we want to perform the second join using the ID field of right table rather than left table, we can replace leftTable.id with rightTable.id in the final line. Thinking back to our example of world leaders, let's say that we are interested in identifying countries of the world that have both a president and a prime minister, and want to know the year each prime minister came into office. Let's have a look at the prime minister terms table from our database of world leaders. It contains a prime minister column with prime minister names, as well as a PM start column containing the start year of a prime minister's term. Let's apply the new syntax we have learned to our world leaders example. We can begin, as before, with an inner join of the president's and prime minister's tables, using our aliasing skills to shorten the length of the query. Recall from our first lesson that the result set of this join was a combined table showing countries with both a prime minister and a president. If we now join the result of our first inner join with our prime minister terms table on the prime minister field, the final result will be only those countries with both prime ministers and presidents, along with the years their prime ministers assumed office. Notice that the prime minister terms table has 10 records, whereas our final result only has 4 records. This is because only 4 records from the prime minister terms table match the result of our first inner join. Here's a look at the final SQL query for chaining a second inner join to our first inner join. Notice that the syntax for the second join is exactly the same as for the first join, but we use prime minister as the field to join on instead. We can continue the chain and join as many tables together as we need. Now let's step back from our world leaders example. One more thing to know about joins is that it isn't always the case that each value in the field being joined on corresponds to exactly one record in the joining field of the right table. In the example shown, if we join on one field as we have done before, the query will return multiple records from right table that match with left table on the ID field. We can limit the records returned by supplying an additional field to join on by adding the keyword to our on clause. In this example, we join on date, a frequently used second column when joining on multiple fields. The result set now contains records that match on both ID and date.